Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Long Gone Loser Rock Show. Today, we're going to talk about not only one of my favorite TV shows of all time, but we're going to talk about this awesome compilation that was spawned by it. I'm talking about All Punk Rods, released by Gearhead and Lookout. This comp rules. I bought this comp way back in the day whenever it was released from More Damn Records, I think it was. And I was blown away because at the time, the Helicopters had become like the thing and one of the bands that I just absolutely loved. And I was like, well, I need everything. And the Helicopters have a track on here which is very specific to this channel. But not only that, the lineup on this was awesome. I mean, you've got the Nomads, you've got the Donners, you've got the Smugglers, the High Fives, Man or Astro-Man, etc., etc. It is just a really, really good compilation album. Now, the cool thing about this when I got the record is I put it on and was greeted immediately by samples taken from the Hot Rod Herman episode of The Munsters.
Well, there he is, my son-in-law, the 150-year-old teenage punk.
The Munsters was a show I grew up on. I loved every minute of it. Every episode is just killer. It is such a funny show. And I was just, I was right there, growing up. It was a perfect show to see. That and the Addams Family. I know people kind of had this, which one do you prefer? But I love them both. The Munsters, to me, though, is just something else. I mean, the show itself is so hilarious. I mean, you might watch it now and think that the humor is kind of dated and stuff. And I guess, it probably, at times it is. But it doesn't make the show any less funny. I just love the show for what it is and how goofy it is and the idiom evolved in it. I mean, Herman Munster is basically a big goofball. It's just funny. Like, I don't know. I love the show. I really do. But the Hot Rod Herman episode, that's a great episode. I mean, here you are, you've got this, car culture, which somehow has entwined itself in rock and roll. If you've never seen the episode of Hot Rod Herman, I highly recommend you watch it because it's great. It's just a fun episode. And the car is awesome. I mean, let's be real. Dragula is a killer car. Like, it's awesome. I mean, you're driving a hotted up coffin. How cool is that? And on top of that, the Munsters car itself is brilliant. Like the ride, the Munsters ride, like that car is awesome. I know it has a name, and the custom, is it the Munsters Coach? Is it with a K? K-O-A-C? Is that what it's called? I don't know. I don't know if it had a proper name. I can't remember. But, the drivable coffin is the Dragula, as seen here on the cover. So, very, very cool. So anyway, this is the back cover of the record. Now, the reason why this record means a lot to me is because the Long Gone Loser name came from the song that's on here by the Helicopters. There you go, right there. Long Gone Losers. So I get asked a lot, why Long Gone Loser? Well, that's the answer, because that's one of my favorite songs. I love that song. Like, it's just such a cool fucking rock and roll jam. But not only that, the opening track, the Nomads, Let's Go to the Drag Strip, man, I put that on every mixtape ever. That song just rules. And then you got the Demonics. I mean, how good are the Demonics? One of those Man's Ruin bands. They did, I've got a bunch of their records. But I remember the Man's Ruin 7-inch stands out to me with that cool Cossack cover. The Splash 4, the Quadrajets, love the Quadrajets. The High Fives, awesome. Man or Astro-Man, who doesn't love Man or Astro-Man? Such a great instrumental band. Gas Huffer, there we go. Gas Huffer, needs no introduction. The Dragons from Southern California with a song called Ted. Now, I always wonder this because there's a guy I know from San Diego named Ted, and he is a massive fan and good friend of the Dragons, and I always wondered if that song was about him. I assume it would be, probably. But yeah, the Dragons. The Donners, Speeding Back to My Baby, great Ace Frehley cover there. The Peaches, Servotron, and finishing with the Smugglers, Rock and Roll Was Never This Fun. On the inside, we have this here, and also the contact information right there. So Dedicated to the memory of Fred Gwynn, July 10th, 1926 to July 2nd, 1993. How cool. There's the two cars, man. How good are those cars? So good. Love it. Absolutely love this compilation. If you've never heard this comp before, do yourself a favor, look it up. I mean, you may already know some of the songs because some of them were released on other things, but as an overall, because it has samples from the TV show, this comp rules. Like, it's a great selection of songs that just flows so well together. So yeah, this is a great comp. I love this one. Check it out, guys. If you don't know this comp, jump onto the secondary market and look it up, because it's an essential piece of listening. After you've done that, go watch the Munsters, and why not? Because it's awesome. Well, my friends, thank you so much for once again tuning into another episode of the Long Gone Loser Rock Show, looking at all punk rods released by Gearhead and Lookout Records, two of the greatest labels at that time. Take care of yourselves, look after each other. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Well, aren't you going to wish me luck, Grandpa?
Drop dead.